The sun, a bloodshot eye in a bruised sky, beat down on the cracked asphalt. Annabelle's car, a rusted tomb on wheels, rattled into the gas station. "What have you got there, babe?" she asked, her voice a thin, brittle whisper, like dried leaves skittering across a grave. "Well," Brian replied, his grin a rictus, a ghastly imitation of joy. "I got a 6-pack of cigarettes, 2 cases of 24-packs of Bud Light, and I got you some warm, hot food." The word hung in the air, thick and cloying. "Thank you, babe," Annabelle said, her smile stretching, a grotesque parody of affection. "You know me so well." Brian leaned out, cracked open a beer, the hiss a venomous whisper, a prelude to the coming storm. Annabelle started the car, the engine a guttural growl, and they lurched forward. Alongside them, a minivan, a mobile coffin, carried a mother, her little girl, and their cat, their fates intertwined with the darkness. "Oh, look at that cat," Annabelle exclaimed, her voice a strained, hysterical laugh. "The dog is so cute as well," Brian agreed, finishing his beer, the can crumpling like the bones of a small animal. The little girl waved, her eyes wide with a premonition of terror. He waved back, a final, futile gesture. Soon after, he drifted off to sleep, a descent into the maw of nightmare. For the next 25 minutes, he was trapped in a realm of unspeakable horrors. Annabelle pulled into a scenic overlook, a desolate altar to dread. Brian, still ensnared in his nightmare, stirred. In his dream, he bolted upright, a cold, clammy terror gripping him. "Close the door. Roll up the windows," he screamed, his voice a silent shriek, lost in the echoing void. But before Annabelle could react, a deafening roar, a sound from the depths of hell, shattered the air. The Eater. It smashed through the passenger window, a gaping maw in the metal, ripping the door off its hinges. It lunged into the car, its jaws, dripping with unholy saliva, clamping down on Brian's collarbone. He felt the searing, agonizing rending, the hot, viscous flow of blood, a river of crimson despair. Panicked, Brian clawed for the shotgun, his fingers slick with sweat and fear. Annabelle, her face a mask of petrified terror, tried to push the creature away, her foot connecting with its monstrous form. The Eater's rage intensified, an infernal fury. Its claws, like obsidian daggers, slashed across Annabelle's face, tearing it apart, a grotesque tapestry of flesh and bone. Her screams, gurgling and choked, were cut short as the Eater, driven by an insatiable hunger, ripped open her chest, tearing out her heart, a still-beating trophy. Blood sprayed everywhere, a crimson deluge, a macabre baptism. In a final, obscene act, the Eater bit off her head, a sickening crunch echoing through the stillness. Brian, in his dream, finally managed to fire the shotgun, the blast of futile defiance against the encroaching darkness. The shot ripped into the Eater's face, but it was too late, a hollow victory. The Eater's jaws closed around his throat, crushing it, silencing him forever in the realm of nightmares. Back in reality, Annabelle was shaking Brian, her touch cold and clammy, a harbinger of death. He jolted awake, his eyes wide, pupils dilated, reflecting the abyss. He grabbed the shotgun, his hands trembling, and ran outside, scanning the woods, a labyrinth of shadows for any sign of the creature. Finding nothing, he returned to the car and recounted the horrific dream to Annabelle, his voice a broken, trembling echo. She listened, her face ashen, trembling with a fear that seeped into her very soul. "I don't think I want to stay here anymore," she whispered, her voice a ghost of a sound, a premonition of her own demise. "I think we should leave before it gets us." Brian looked over at the minivan, a vessel of doomed souls. The same mother, little girl, and cat were inside, their faces etched with a silent, primal dread. The mother waved, her smile a desperate, fragile mask. Then the little girl waved again, her eyes wide with a knowledge too terrible for a child. The cat hissed, its fur standing on end, a final, desperate warning. The mother's face was a canvas of pure, unadulterated fear. 20 seconds later, as Brian and Annabelle stepped out of their car, the nightmare became a tangible, horrifying reality. The Eater, a grotesque parody of life, smashed through the minivan's window, a violent intrusion. It seized the mother, her screams a symphony of terror, and dragged her out, a sacrifice to the insatiable hunger. The little girl's cries were swallowed by the chaos, lost in the echoing screams of the damned. Brian fired 2 shots into the Eater's side, a futile attempt to stem the tide of horror. It barely flinched, its eyes burning with malevolent hunger. It ripped the mother in half, her body a grotesque tableau of carnage, and then turned its attention to her head, biting down with savage, bone-crushing force. An ambulance arrived, a grim Reaper's chariot. The EMT driver stepped out and immediately vomited, a retching sound in the stillness, a testament to the unholy scene. The back of the mother's head was a gaping, oozing wound, her brain exposed, a grotesque still life. City workers took the little girl away, her face blank, her eyes vacant, a soul shattered by the unspeakable. As the 2 EMTs prepared to deal with the carnage, the female EMT shouted, her voice a strangled cry, "Watch out!" Behind you, the Eater, seemingly immortal, lunged at the mother's remains, a feast for the damned. It grabbed the male EMT, ripping him in half, his screams abruptly silenced, and then devoured his head, a sickening, wet crunch. The female EMT stood frozen, paralyzed by terror, a witness to the apocalypse. Brian, his hand shaking, finally managed to aim, his finger trembling on the trigger, and emptied the entire clip into the Eater's head. A desperate, final act. This time, the creature finally fell, its massive form crashing to the earth. A thunderous thud, a final, chilling silence. And in that silence, a dread that lingered, a promise of nightmares yet to come,